So once you download this, you have 14 to 30 days to actually watch the file. This is dependent on which service you're on. For instance, on PlayStation, you have 14 days to watch your rental. However, if you start watching, that 24-hour clock begins, and you have 24 hours to watch the movie. And if you stop in the middle and you wait a couple of days and try to watch it again, you've missed your window. So this is the VOD dilemma, rental offering, but this is what's available today. And this is the way that the studios look at the ways to protect their content. So let's look at the overall picture on consumer spending today. Well, really, this is a giant market because you look at home video and where the home video world is going, from DVD and hard goods to soft goods over the internet, digital. And last year, we have some research here that consumers spent $488 million on renting and downloading movies to own. And this pie cuts up a little slice for each one of these studios. And even though this is a very handy tool to have and the studios are nicely represented and talking to billions, which of course is very significant, you have to remember that each studio puts out a certain number of titles. Lionsgate doesn't put out the same number of titles as, say, Warner Brothers. They have different amounts of catalog of library titles that they clear that they make available in here. So this is kind of a little bit misleading. You should use that as a rule of thumb. But the $488 million is pretty significant. Just a few years ago, we were talking about $1 million. So the consumers have really started to catch up into the digital world and understand the concept of downloading. And I think as you see more people switching to digital television, high-def television, and learning about what they can access on their televisions, you'll see this number spike dramatically. And this is what I'm talking about here. Video Business Magazine is talking about actual numbers going up, quadrupling in the next 4 years. So who's minding the store? Who are the big retail players here? Well, it's obvious. iTunes is really has cornered the market today with the billions they've spent on educating the consumer about downloads. Well, really, what are they also doing? They're selling hardware. They're selling all of their Macs and their iPods. Amazon VOD is selling everything in between. They can sell you the book and the soundtrack on CD and toys or whatever. And Xbox, being a game console, of course, selling you the box, and that's today is only rental only. When we're talking a little bit about Netflix and other boxes and devices that they're offering their streaming service through, that's also being offered through Xbox right now, along with downloading. There's PlayStation Network. Again, you can watch on your PlayStation 3 or your PSP, your portable device. And Vudu being a hardware offering where you can download too. Of course, there are others, like I was talking about, Movielink and Blockbuster. And these are the stores that are really starting to get some traction. And I say that with very light hand. Traction is a very light word. The only one that's really making any money here is iTunes. But they're all looking at the bigger picture, the long-term offering. There's, of course, stores that have come and gone. Walmart launched a download service. Bongo was Star's offering, which is now a B2B offering. And, of course, AOL had gotten into the VOD, or the downloading service. So what's working? Well, again, iTunes, it's about volume, portability. The consumer wants to be able to do whatever they want with their content and their brand. And then in Netflix, the opportunity to branch into a bigger, broader offering from a digital perspective. The subscription kind of throws a wrench into their offering, and we talk a lot about that in the online course. What's not working? Again, we spent a lot more time talking about what's not working in the online course, but again, it's an early world here. This is young. From a consumer perspective, the DRM is really it's confusing and it hinders their opportunity of what they want to do with their files. And again, that digital rights management is what causes a lot of issues around knowing what you can do with your content. The sizes of files, the storage ability, these movies are about 1 gig. That's a standard definition file, and they take up a lot of space. Time, how long it takes to actually download an SD standard definition movie is about 60 minutes. And then, of course, for HD, it could take hours and hours. And then back to the rental window, the viewing period. Again, it's very confusing to the consumer. So what's next? Well, the consumer wants it easier and faster and cheaper, just like everything else. I think that there's a lot of opportunities here. And what we talk a little bit more about is the opportunity around subscription downloads and what's going to be going on there. This is more value to the consumer. We have some research about how the consumer is looking at Netflix and those type of offerings as giving them really more bang for their buck. And around free ad-supported downloads, I think there's a big opportunity there to offer downloads for free that have ads, bumpering front or the end. And then niche content retailers. Part of my experience from a marketing and merchandising perspective, when you have 30,000 movies to promote on a television screen or even worse on a PC, it gets really difficult. And so I think niche marketers, niche offerings are going to start to take off as well. And then cloud, digital storage, where do you put all this content? You don't want to have it sitting in multiple devices next to your, boxes next to your television. You want to be able to access it wherever you go, so I think there's opportunity there. I think you'll see flash drives and digital kiosks start to become available. Again, portability on the go, in the airport, quickly download a movie, take it, put them into your device. And then mobile devices. Of course, this is already happening where you can download movies and watch television on all sorts of devices. So that's it. That's my 15-minute overview. Before answering any questions, two announcements. One is that Kevin Yamano of Clear Springs Technology is going to be here to talk about social network marketing, which has been a very much in demand subject here. And that'll be 2 weeks from today. If you have any questions and if you like the webinar, of course, please take the course. It's an hour long. It's just like this. We have a lot more information. And then at the bottom of the screen here, you'll see we have the email to email questions today. It's info@rui.us.com. And here's some more information about the seminar and the actual full course. So without any hesitations, I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, the first question is, I'm completing a feature film where one of the prominent actors has a stipulation in his contract that states the film must play on 350 theatrical screens. Is there a network set up in the world of digital distribution that would allow me to distribute the film in one unique time slot on 350 screens in the U.S.?
Wow, well, there's a couple of mixed questions there. When you're talking about a theatrical release, nothing here in what we're talking about is theatrical window-based, or at least not yet. There are some independent film companies like Magnolia, which are playing with all sorts of opportunities, just like you're talking about. I believe there's an article just in the last couple of days about how, in fact yesterday I think in the LA Times, about how independent movies are looking at VOD opportunities, and that includes everything from on the web to, in schools and in hotels. And I think that you'll find more and more of these independent companies that have exactly that type of offering when they license a movie. In this case today, when you're looking at iTunes, I think that, and these other services, they're open to those type of things. I bet if this was a movie that you could get them to watch and tell them, this is a stipulation I have because this actor A is so big, they might actually go for that. And you might be able to squeeze that in as 350 screens. But it by no means, we're talking apples and oranges here between theatrical release and IP delivery offerings. I hope that helps.
Next